So, last we met, our boys were on the train to the coastal island Freya, recovering from an attack at the border of the Phoenix Island. Kian and Ox had a little get-together, as did Virgil and Rowan, both romantic in their own small ways. And Virgil's been feeling a little different lately. Have y'all ever heard of Aasimar? Anyways, as the train barrels its way southward, the boys begin planning for what's to come in Freya. They'll have to behave themselves there underneath the watch of a guardian who has no qualms against turning troublemakers into creatures to populate the lush landscape. They'll be traveling out into dangerous oceans, searching for a source of aberration in the ruins of what used to be a part of Freya. Making some plans would be smart, but you know these boys. They can get a little sidetracked. Rowan looks to Kian. Kian looks to Rowan. Kian, do they not know about this aspect of you?
They know about this aspect of me. He looks at Rowan with bemusement, but also he's trying very hard to read him. That's a nat one, baby!
Rowan just looks a little concerned, perhaps, about the confusion that seems to have arisen in this conversation.
Look, we can change the subject, really. I didn't realize this was an issue.
I don't understand what the issue is.
Are we still talking about hatching? Because it's not an issue, Kian. Honestly, it is a bit surprising.
It's alright. There was an implication that, well, how do you know about this?
Rowan just leans back and sighs. All right. No, I am not. My mother was an Aasimar, and it is not uncommon for hatching to occur. However, Kian, he just puts a hand to his temple. It is not the case for most people. Are you aware of that?
I became very quickly aware of that. Know everybody's reaction. So we can just move on from this. Now, preferably.
Yes, really. Look, the hatching thing isn't necessarily particularly important. Rowan, you were saying that you are not necessarily a Celestial and Aasimar yourself, but the son of one? I suppose it makes sense. I don't know why I didn't consider that was really a possibility. But wait, what does that make you then if you're 1/4? 1/2? How does that work? The logistics of it.
I suppose 1/2. I did not hatch, but my mother did. But it is not it. This is, as you. This is not exactly the point of the conversation we are meant to be having right now.
Didn't know that about your mother.
He just shrugs.
But the important thing, is that your mother, it wasn't a secret that she was an Aasimar. You could tell, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then it's not my circumstances. It's not like either of my parents could be hiding that sort of thing. It would be very obvious, right?
I would think it would be obvious if you were celestial in some way.
Generally, it garners respect, if anything.
Yes, of course, that makes sense. Right, okay. I suppose that just gives me something to think about then, and relay back. Thank you for the insight, Rowan.
Just ask them if they hatched, I guess.
I don't know.
That's entirely fair. Anyways.
Yeah, so Freya.
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions if we're ready to go in about our own days.
Sounds great, actually.
Unless you think of something, feel free to ask, of course. I do have open communication to Donning if there are any questions you need me to send back that way. I should also say, we will be escorted by an envoy from Donning. You can tell he's sort of regretting this topic as he's speaking it. Possibly hasn't fully recovered from the egg conversation. He's blushing a little bit. I know our circumstances have been unusual and not terribly traditional, but when we are with this envoy and also when we are back in Donning around the Phoenix grounds, you are expected to at least refer to me by my last name or my title, and I should also refer to you as your last names and your title if you are to gain one. I know it's hard to get used to the change, and that is how things are done.
That won't be a problem, right?
Keen looks like he's gonna argue, but he keeps his mouth shut. He nods.
Ox will also nod.
All eyes turn to Henry.
What are you looking at me like that for? I was under the impression we weren't joining the John Shepherds in any capacity.
No, but respect is still owed, wouldn't you say? Especially in public circumstances.
I can choose an appropriately respectful title to use in appropriate conversations. I just think it's a little absurd with the convoy piece. It's not really that formal. It's a company.
Rowan actually has like a small, amused smile on his face. He doesn't seem annoyed. I know it can seem a bit ridiculous, but it is what is expected. And as a favor, I would appreciate it, because I'm new to this position. Of course, I cannot force you to use it, but if you would, I just ask.
I'll see what I can do, but no hard promises, just in case.
I appreciate that. If that is all, then I think we may dismiss ourselves.
Yes, Henry will get up to leave.
So, you have a few days left on this little train ride of yours. Is there anything else you have planned before you arrived in Freya?
Yeah. Let me roll a dice about it though, so if anyone wants to go first, you can feel free.
Ox does make an outfit change before they reach Freya.
Very important.
Yeah, now that everything has sort of settled down. He's been seen wearing green sort of railroad stripe shirt, green and black, with his standard black pants that are flared at the bottom. Some new assless chaps with fringe coming down from the knee. Noticeably now he's got like chest harness. He's got a new chest harness to put his gun into, now that he's got two of them. One is like at the front of his hip still, but he's also included a third holster, just for fun. He's been wearing his nicer boots and his new hat. He's still got his gloves, and he's now got a red bandana that he's been tying around his neck. Also in the hat, the feather that he got, he tucked it into his hat. The Qualls feather token.
What
So
kind of green?
bright teal green.
Greens and blacks.
No, I
Kian's
post it.
type.
Yeah. Kian, you get a message in the middle of the night. It wakes you. 2 days from the meeting. You're not quite at the border of Freya yet. If he ever contacts you again, let me know. Find a way. I'll start looking soon.
Don't think he will. Doesn't have spell components. Let me know if you find anything. Be careful.
You don't hear anything back, at least not for the moment.
One afternoon, Rowan will get a knock on his door.
He opens it.
Virgil is standing there, with a bit of dirt under his nails, a smudge on his face. Hi. Real quick, do you happen to have an extra hair tie?
He takes you in, nods, and just reaches into his pocket, pulls out a simple black hair tie, hands it to you. What? How? Where did you find the dirt?
He just starts tying his hair up. Thank you for this. And then he just turns and heads back to his own room.
Virgil leans out the door.
Well, if you want to help, you're welcome.
This is the most mysterious shit I've ever experienced.
Rowan's like, this is a trap.
Virgil, you hear Rowan's door close, and you go into your room.
Yeah, he'll look back over his shoulder.
A couple minutes later, there's a knock on your door.
It's open.
Slides it open.
He enters to find Virgil sitting cross-legged on the floor of his compartment, fussing with the topsoil of a small dome-shaped terrarium. And he's just setting it into place carefully and, packing it down. There's dirt on his hands, rolled up his sleeves, and he's got his hair pulled back out of his face. You change your mind?
I was just curious. I suppose I should have known you would find a way to carry on your gardening here.
Well, seeing as this is my first time in about, I would say probably over a decade, do you want to join me? You have had a bit more experience than me, I would say.
I don't know where you would get that idea. I would not know what I'm doing, but if you wish for help. He closes the door and sits down across from you.
Virgil just smiles as he sits, and he pulls out a small pouch, and from within he pulls out some small white dandelion seeds with the puffs on the end attached, and he'll just pass some to Rowan. Do you recognize them?
I do know what a dandelion is, yes.
Well, they're yours.
Stares at them in his open palm. Nods.
Do you want to help?
I don't know what else to do besides just place them atop the dirt, but sure.
Yeah, that's typically how it is done, I hear. And Virgil will just pick out a few and gently pack them atop the soil.
He does the same. He seems mostly puzzled by all this, but he goes along with it. You've seen him puzzled a lot on this train ride, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you for helping. And this isn't exactly the garden we talked about, but it is, I hope, still nice. And he will pull out his water skin and just carefully cast shape water and draw a little bit out and carefully wet the top of the soil.
Sure you would have liked more than just weeds, but they'll grow easily.
And not just weeds.
He wipes off his hands, stands up, just looks at you for a second, then turns to go.
I'm sorry for what I said before. In the livestock car, he stands up.
What part?
The part where I called you an idiot.
He shrugs.
No, don't do that. I know it hurt you, and I didn't mean it the way that it came out, but that is not the effect it had on you. And I need you to know I don't think of you that way. I never have. I was just, frustrated that you would think I would so easily turn on you like that. And I know it's reasonable for you to think so, considering what happened, but I just hoped you would have a bit more faith in me, that's all. So I'm sorry.
It's alright.
Rowan, can I, He stops there and just goes in for a hug. It's slow. His arms settle around Rowan's waist. Slowly. So if he wants to pull away, he can.
He just stands still. He doesn't encourage, but he doesn't pull away either.
Virgil gives him one tight squeeze and then moves to let go.
His arms wrap around you, Virgil. And he pulls you very close.
Virgil lets out a sound. It's not quite a vocalization, but it's just the sound of breath being punched out. And he holds Rowan so tight. You're so warm. I'd almost forgotten.
He doesn't say anything, but doesn't let go for a long time.
Virgil stands there as long as he is allowed.
Is there anything else anyone had to do on the train?
I just think it would be unrealistic for keen not to try to reach out to Aelin again. This would have actually been the night of the egg talk. We'll start with another apology. Please, Aelin, I just want to talk about it. Did you know not everybody hatches? I thought I knew more about that kind of thing. I guess I don't. I just want to talk to you, please. About anything.
Roll a persuasion.
32.
Yeah, that might do it.
And did you speak and then go to sleep, or was this sort of like in your little
In his
state?
head. In that pre-dream, laying in bed. In their head, they're not speaking out loud.
You feel stuck there for a long time. It's not a particularly pleasant feeling. It's sort of like when you're struggling to either fall asleep or wake up and you can't really do either. You can sense another presence there. Silent, but there.
He will just start talking about the train, everything that's happened in the last, week and a half. Just telling a story.
You are able to do so. You can feel someone listening. And once you're finished telling your story, you fall properly asleep.
Getting somewhere.
And
Wait, he does not talk about kissing Ox there.
Oh, so that's a secret.
yeah.
Yes.
From Aelin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to do with Wasp before you get to Freya?
I guess Ox maybe might take some shifts of just hanging out with him quietly while he reads and scribbles in his notebook a bit.
They'll often glance your way. Ox are mostly pretty quiet, but give you a good look over. Your friends got rid of that thing Scar was tracking you with.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's tucked away. Hopefully less trackable.
Good luck with that. Where'd you find a device like that?
Which?
The one you used to talk to Scar or see her or...
Well, I guess a friend of ours made it. Someone who's more versed in building things to reach Fae-type creatures. Didn't know we'd be able to contact her with it.
Lucky coincidence? Well, you might want to do better than tuck it away if you don't want her to use it.
How'd you get wound up in all this?
Right place, right time? Well, they glance down at their tied ankles. If you mean in this, wrong place, wrong time, but...
I mean, with your wins, so to speak.
Why, thinking of joining?
Is that the only way you'll tell me?
Yeah, they shrug. Kind of smiling back at you. If you mean it.
I think my train robbing days are behind me.
There's no need for you to know, is there?
Guess not then.
They nod and go back to looking out the window.
Yeah. Ox is quiet as he maybe scribbles down some poetry in his notebook.
Kian has been keeping the device in the bag of holding. Putting that out there.
Just in case it's relevant.
And I think with that, the rest of your train ride goes by peacefully.
I should clarify, were there any further particularly relevant messages for Henry from Umbra?
She'll check in, just to use the stone, because why not, to ask you if you've learned anything, but each time she sounds a bit apologetic, like she knows that there's not much you can do. You start to feel like it's more of a courtesy on her end than anything else, that she continues throughout the next 2 days to contact you.
Henry doesn't ever sound like he's being inconvenienced. He doesn't mind. He knows business formalities.
Oh, so now he knows business formalities.
When they
That's
suit him.
different.
You want me to call you Sterling?
Commander
formal.
Sterling.
Anyway, the rest of your train ride goes easily. You do not find yourself attacked again. The landscape becomes more and more verdant as you roll along, and a little bit hilly. Spring is really in its full glory here. You start to see more and more rivers and creeks outside the window, and Ox, when you step out the back to take a break, have a smoke, you can hear the music of the running water as you pass by. Everywhere you look, you also see a wide variety of creatures. There's deers, foxes, some mountain lions, birds, boars, lots of animals that are typically too shy to see in the daytime, pretty much anytime you glance out the window. It's impossible to know if these creatures with blank eyes and intense staring looks once saw the world through different eyes, or if they simply haven't learned fear like most animals have. It brings to mind the warning that Commander Sterling gave you all about behaving yourselves here in Freya, or perhaps chancing the risk of being turned into one of these creatures yourselves. In the early evening of the third day, you all pull into the northeast border of Freya, which, while in the borders, is very close to the corrupted lands that you will be exploring. The city is just named Fallow. You pull into the station, and Rowan is waiting for you all Commander Sterling is waiting for you all in the hallway of the train, in front of Wasp's room. He glances at their door and to the rest of you.
We are at the station. I am allowed to leave the train before he gestures around himself. Others? That'd be alright. I just need to jump in and check on the post.
So how is this related?
It's relevant.
I don't see why you shouldn't be allowed to check.
I could just go on ahead real quick and check on that. The rest of you can rally them up and take them off of the train and...
We can take
Efficiency.
it slow and like 10 minutes. Give you enough time to figure out whatever you gotta figure out.
We will wait here.
Alright, I'll make it quick then. Henry immediately will go off of the train.
You are able to find a post office very close to the train station, as is typical. Before you are able to step into the building, you feel something land on your shoulder, and you look over to see a small, dark falcon that you have seen before on other shoulders. Around its ankle, there's a small piece of paper tied, just a simple twine. It sticks out its foot.
Henry diverts from his path to address the letter from this falcon.
It's a relatively short note compared to the one you sent. Kit, good to hear from you. It's been a while. We have not heard much about the comings and goings of the tequila trade, so we are unsure of the business ventures that may be taking place there. There's not much for us to report. We have been sad to discover that one of our favorite shops in town seems to have closed down. We don't know if it was robbed and looted or perhaps just left by its owner, but we will miss visiting it. Been a bit concerned about the owner, but it seems like there was no foul play, at least. Aside from that, all is well. We'll let you know if we hear anything about the others you've inquired us to keep a lookout for. Feel free to reach out to us soon. Next time you come, don't be a stranger. And it's just signed with an X.
Fascinating. Kit.
He'll fold the letter up and pocket it, and then produce another sheet of paper from tearing it out of the journal that he has on his person. Writes out a response letter. Just before he finishes writing it, he has a thought and folds the letter in half, tucks it in his pocket, and...
The falcon pecks impatiently at your horns.
Henry will cast Speak with Animals. Pardon me, but would you mind waiting just one moment? I need to retrieve something to... He gestures with the letter. Put in here.
Where's my reward?
I left it on board the train, which happens to be right where the other item that I need to retrieve is. So, again, if you wouldn't mind being particularly patient.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you so much. I promise I'll be right back.
It's a well-trained bird.
Yeah, sets the falcon down out of the way and...
Just hangs out on a signpost.
How quickly could Henry and or Delilah locate and hunt a mouse on board this train?
Is it Henry or is it Delilah?
Roll a nature check. Why not?
Do they both do the same coyote hunting leap?
What'd you get?
22.
Yeah, you can find a mouse within a couple minutes. You're in a town. Crumbs on the ground.
Excellent. Henry onto the train, back to the boys.
I'm sorry, are you holding the mouse?
Between your teeth?
No, just by the tail.
He's got quite a few like leather pouches, so it's
Mouse
stuffed into
tail
one of
sticking
those. He's not that unprofessional. Give him some credit.
Delilah's just snoot to pocket.
Which Henry just has to push her away. Excellent news. I've received word back from my contact, so if we'd like to head outside of the train,
Just let him walk.
Do we have a way to track them?
yes.
May I ask what that is?
Some people I know are just going to need some kind of personal effect or hair. I believe that can be worked with.
Are you completely unable to give names of these friends of yours?
Unfortunately to you, yes. They're not they're not people who have broken the law. Not criminals. Just, Commander, you need to understand.
Okay.
It's a sensitive matter, and I really didn't get permission on whether or not I could go about gallivanting their names through the chief of the Dawn Shepherds.
He gives you a long look, closes his eyes, opens them again, nods. I think I am going to just pretend I didn't hear most of this. It is good to know you have someone who can track them. Let's carry on, shall we?
Yes, I realize you can't give many, if any, details, but you are confident in these people's abilities to not lose our quarry?
Yes.
Okay, then.
All right. Yeah. Rowan opens the door to Wasp's compartment. They look to you all with the same sort of nonchalance and stand up as best they can. And Rowan unties the tie around their ankle and looks to you all and then unties the binds on their wrist. You will be allowed to go. We do have ways to locate you if further trouble occurs. Does Henry look frustrated?
I mean, I'm gesturing a lot. For the listeners at home. Henry's a lot more subtle about it. It's more of just a widening of the eyes, a bit of an eyebrow raise.
The same reaction we always give to Henry whenever Henry speaks.
You do see Commander sort of glance your way. It seems to clock your reaction. Doesn't seem to regret it, doesn't stop himself. We have stopped in Fallow and Freya Island. Feel free to go from here where you wish.
But, of course, before you leave, if you wouldn't mind, Henry, though saying, if you wouldn't mind, approaches Wasp rather quickly. At his thigh is where he has a strap. It's a skinning knife. And in the same motion, he'll take whatever, if there's like a wispy strand that's a little thicker, will pull that and cut up, get a chunk of Wasp's hair.
Terrifying.
Their expression doesn't change as you do this. They seem unsurprised. Thank you for your mercy.
Of course.
I'll take my leave then.
Yes.
It's only now that you realize that they are entirely suspicious of this freedom you've granted them. They step forward a bit slowly down the corridor and glance back at you all as they do so. As soon as they have one foot out the door, they just run, race away, and vanish into the crowd.
Henry wastes no time going from when Wasp leaves to himself leaving the train to go back to the Falcon to give them their letter, now with minor cargo folded so that it'll stay.
I guess we're following. And Keen will go off the train.
Rowan puts a hand on your shoulder. We are supposed to meet here.
The train station?
Yes,
Does Henry know that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, hopefully he'll figure it out.
Rowan pulls you to the side, the rest of you to the side. Once you're all back together, Rowan starts to lead you all to the opposite end of the station, close to the southern exit. It's mostly cleared out by now of people From afar, you see someone standing rather straight back in the military fashion that you've seen from Rowan and Virgil. She's glancing around and makes eye contact with Rowan and the rest of you and smiles, nods. It looks like she's probably a Genasi. She has a dark skin that's a sort of ash blue and very bright gray eyes that peer through round glasses. She has long black hair and it's tied back. She looks rather strong. You can tell that she's a trained soldier or ex-soldier. She raises a hand to give a short wave to you all. She's wearing clothes that are similar in style to what you saw Fenanita wearing, the representative of Freya. Cloak that hers appears to be some sort of animal hide. She has mostly dyed deeper browns and earthy reds in her fabrics. She nods as you all approach, places her hand to her chest and introduces herself. My name is Reese. It's good to meet you all. She looks at you, Virgil, in the same way that she looks at the rest of them, as if she's meeting you for the first time.
Do I know this person? What?
This is Commander Philippa Reese.
Oh. Right.
She looks at you all expectantly.
Tis good to meet you, and Virgil will give a very formal bow.
You can tell she's a little thrown by that, but she nods back to you.
King Lionels? Pleasure?
Ox will clear his throat and tip his hat. Oxalis came for her.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Henry Tempest Goodlove.
Thank you all for helping us with this problem that Freya has been suffering from. We were hoping to send you out as soon as possible. I can lead you to an inn at the border. As planned, there are rooms saved for you there. If you can be ready by dawn tomorrow, I know it's not much of a welcome. Well, it's not the kind of thing we want to delay, is it?
I think we came ready, so...
Excellent. Follow me then. She turns around. She leads you all to a carriage that's waiting outside. It's hitched by a single creature, a large black boar that's about the size of your average pony. She waits for you all to board before she gets on as well. It's a spacious ride. Are you laughing because bored? It's a spacious ride for, well, maybe just for you, Ox. It's nicer than most transportation that you've been able to take. Most people seem to associate maybe the creature that's leading you or the fineness of the vehicle itself with higher ups. You notice you seem to have right of way in the traffic of the town. And it takes about 15 minutes for you to arrive at this inn at the border. The driver hops down to open the door for you, and you're all led into a small but cozy inn. Just to the side of the door in the entryway, the lobby, she stops you all. Is there anything you need from us? It's a small town, but if there is anything I can try to find for you, I will. I will wake you in the morning when it's time for you to go. Send you off in the right direction.
That would be much appreciated.
You were dismissed then. Thank you. The smile she turns your way, Virgil, is a bit questioning. She doesn't seem to hide her curiosity as well, but she lets you go.
Can I just insight check that? Was it she was not expecting to see him here? Was she not informed?
Fucking guy.
This fucking natural one.
2 natural 1
Natural
insights.
Virgil, how are you feeling about this?
Well, he fudged the first interaction he had with her, so, understandably a little bit shaken.
Mm-hmm.
He is not upset to see her. They didn't know each other very well in Dawning, so part of him didn't really expect her to remember him.
Yeah.
But now that it is clear she does, he is a little unsure of how to proceed.
Looking back at her, having all this run through your mind, you kind of stumble a bit, recover yourself, keep going up the stairs to your room. Watches you. You've been assigned to room 203, one floor below Commander Reese's, and you are all, aside from Commander-in-Chief Rowan Sterling, expected to share a suite. It's a large room, like twin-size beds, one for each of you. You don't have to get cozy unless you get cold at night and wish to. And you're left to your own devices. It's already evening when you arrive, so...
Yeah, Virgil will immediately go and make himself comfortable, sit cross-legged on his bed, in his usual meditative pose, sword across the lap,
Wait, what's the bed situation?
You each have one
Oh, each
bed.
Twin.
But Rowan's not staying
But
in this
not.
room.
Okay.
No,
Right? Okay.
Commander-in-Chief Rowan Sterling has his
Rowan.
own room next to you. Commander-in-Chief Rowan Sterling
Rowan.
is sitting in room 204.
Okay.
Anyway. And he will sit with his earring in his palm and with the terrarium sat next to him and cast light and just sit there and do his usual evening meditations.
You mean like cast light? Like a little plant light?
Yes. I think he'll start to sink deeper and see if there's anything still there.
What are the rest of you doing while this happens?
What bed did Kian take out of, like, how are the beds? Is it like a line? Are they like
It's
two
two
and
on one
two?
side, two on the other.
Okay. What bed did Kian
Guys, I'm trying to meditate.
The left side.
like
Close to the door, close to the window.
closest to Virgil? Like, are they on the
Close
same
to the
side?
window. I think you'd want to be close to the window.
So Virgil sits on the bed and behind him there's the sound of a bed scooting across the room. As two of the twin beds are shoved up next to each other.
no, yeah, like what?
I mean, Ox just takes the one next to Kian's.
Roll a wisdom check, please.
That's a fucking 5.
You are accustomed at this point to getting into a meditative state. You can do so. The sounds of Ox rustling through his bag, everyone getting settled in their corners, fades into the background. You have the glow of your light set up beside you. You can still see behind your closed eyelids. It's a comforting presence. So you're able to sort of drift away, if you will. But you find yourself at some undetermined point, returning to yourself, returning to the space without any success in your outreach.
He just shakes it off and will go back to watching over the terrarium.
How long do you usually meditate for?
Probably minimum an hour.
As you look at the terrarium, at first you think it's just material in the soil, but as you look closer, it looks like the seeds are starting to grow.
His eyes just light up, and he sits and will turn the terrarium to different angles to get a better look, and eventually when he's seen his fill, he will pull out his journal and start sketching.
Like they're growing faster? Or it's
Yes, just barely. It's the beginning of shoots coming up from the soil.
Yeah, it's been a couple days.
As Virgil has been meditating, Kian has been pacing, and he's going through trying to figure out a way to voice some things to Aelin, and just failing, and he's pacing back and forth, and somewhere along in this pacing just kind of makes a slight turn without realizing it, and just starts pacing up the ceiling.
Virgil's pencil lifts from the paper, and then he looks up. Had a lot on your mind?
I just can't figure out exactly what I need to say to Aelin to convince them to answer me.
Right. And you've tried the usual apology and all of that.
I thought I did. I guess I didn't say it good enough. Or at least they want something more. Or they won't listen to what I'm trying to say. And he pauses, looks up,
/down.
/down, freezes. It is concentration. Yeah, I think he just he falls.
You get featherfalled. You okay? Yeah.
You sort of float head first to the ground.
Whole time Henry's just sitting off to the side. He was watching Virgil, now is just bemusedly watching both of them.
You've never done that before. Right?
I don't exactly know what I was doing.
You were on the ceiling.
Specifically walking on the ceiling.
When did I...
Well, first you were pacing on the floor, and then the wall, and then the ceiling.
Have you done that before?
No. Has he seen Lachlan do that?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, just to make a point.
He gets up, tentatively walks to the wall, and tries to do it this time, purposefully.
Like hands and knees.
He kind of lifts one leg up, looks really doubtful that this will work, and yeah, he just walks up. This could be useful though, I think. But, I didn't think that would be something I could do.
Can you stumble slightly?
Oh.
Is that normal for vampires?
I guess so. I just didn't really think of that as one of the main things that I should be testing. It's more of the sunlight and the biting people and the mirrors that I thought of first.
But not walking on walls. Never occurred to you that that could be, well, at the very least, fun.
Wait, so how many of the myths are true? Is the bat thing also true? And the garlic?
Yes, and is the garlic true?
The book said that garlic being a repellent to vampires is a myth. However, it is thought to be unpleasant, leading to this myth.
It's like cats and citrus.
Yeah. If you put a clove of garlic next to a vampire, they'll be like,
Yes, to the bad thing. Garlic thing.
you're interrupted slightly as you stumble forward again. Like you've been pushed.
Did you just see something?
No, there's nothing there.
Like on my right shoulder.
What? Perception.
Yeah, perception check.
Sorry.
23.
You don't see anything. It kind of just looks like he tripped.
There's nothing there, Kian. Do you want to maybe get off the wall then, while we figure this out?
No, I want to figure out what's shoving me.
While you're 8 feet off the ground?
Just let him make his own bad decisions.
Okay. Everyone make your bets. It's Aelin, right? Anyway.
While you stand there contemplating this, you are shoved again and fall to your knees on the wall.
Fascinating detective work. What are you finding out?
Are they invisible? Like if you reach out your hand, is there a person
Don't.
there?
He reaches behind.
Because you know if there is someone in the room, that is a security issue.
Yes, but how are we supposed to help it if he's on the wall?
Aye.
Aelin, is this you?
Nothing.
He slowly gets up.
Henry slings his bow off of his shoulders. Would you like me to take a couple of warning shots by your side?
Let's
No.
not fire any arrows.
I'm just
We are
offering.
in the hotel room.
In.
You think I'm going to miss?
Historically, there have been a few occasions, I'm just saying.
Forgive me, I didn't realize you were an expert in the bow and arrow.
I know what an arrow feels like when it's in my shoulder, good love.
You're shoved again.
Okay,
You fall to your knees again. You're being shoved hard, almost painfully.
please come down, Kian. If you're shoved on the ground, that tells you something too, right?
Okay, Kian closes his eyes and thinks about being a bat really, really hard. But he does not cast polymorph.
What?
Roll God.
Nature?
Yeah.
10. I want to use inspiration. Sorry if we die sometime in the future, because I used it. Yeah, it's a fucking 4.
When you open your eyes, Marigold is hovering in front of you in white bat form, just looking at you curiously.
That's not what I meant to do, but very cute.
Marigold flutters around the room.
So, are you going to come off of the wall, or...
Can you feel the shove again? And it pushes you forward, and you slam your face into the floor.
The wall
The
floor?
wall floor?
The floor. Like you are shoved forward. What you all see is basically Kian falls against the floor. Your feet are still on the wall, like it's the floor.
Okay. He curses, holds his head up, holds it for a second, and then he'll just put both of his hands up. I'll get off the wall. Just let me get off the wall. As gravity intended.
So do we have any insights on whether that was Aelin, or if there's someone in the room that we should be worried about?
Aelin, please. He closes his eyes really tight.
And goes to bed.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything.
Can I just do a quick listen? Is there the sounds of someone moving in the room or someone breathing, like in our
Perception.
space? Okay.
Sorry.
Natural 20.
You don't hear anyone besides the three of you.
Okay. Well, I'm inclined to lean towards this was your patron, exhibiting some frustration. Still coming along rough on that front then?
I don't know.
Because it looked a little rough.
A little.
Yeah, my face really hurts right now, but
Yeah, your nose is bleeding a little.
Would you like me to cast Cure Wounds?
Virgil will pass him a little handkerchief.
Kian casts his healing die on himself. Does it work?
Okay.
Aelin takes away your insurance.
Does a 5? Does
Points
heal?
of healing.
Yes.
The pain doesn't really seem to abate.
Not his healthcare. Wait, that's our healthcare, you guys.
Not my health.
Is there any like that like glow of light that usually happens when he casts? Does that happen?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. You see the same golden glow, but then it still hurts.
And normally it wouldn't hurt at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Aelin.
Okay. You might need to have a little chat before we go about wandering into the oceans.
Aelin, could you please just come out now? We can talk it through.
It's a very inconvenient time. Darling, not you, Kian, but Aelin. I mean, I'm not sure necessarily the degree to which they can hear people who are not necessarily you, but we are about to go on a life or death mission, so if it's a petty matter or really even a semi-serious matter, as long as it's not, a completely relationship-breaking one, I think it really would be in your best interest to not turn this time to punish Kian. You can choose a more opportune moment, maybe perhaps when we return to Dawning and not when his life is in jeopardy. Potentially. Just a suggestion from an outsider.
I'm really sorry.
They're very quiet. Do they take sacrifices? Not blood sacrifices. I'm not suggesting killing things. I mean, like offerings. That's the term. Offerings.
I mean, maybe an apology gift wouldn't be so bad. Can they take things to their realm, dimension? I don't know where Celestials go.
Could play you a song.
Maybe it's worth a shot. I'm so fucking sorry.
Yeah. Kian doesn't really sing when he plays, but he will go to his bag of holding and take out the mandolin that has pretty much remained untouched this whole campaign. And Kian will sit in the middle of his bed, take out the mandolin, and he'll play a traditional Rasulian folk song.
Roll a performance check.
That's a 18.
You play your song. At the end of it, a short silence. From the other side of the wall, you hear some clapping, some applause from Rowan's side. You don't hear anything from Aelin, though.
I want to keep trying. And if you really do hate me, we can figure out a way that you can get something out of our pact. Friendship's not going to work anymore. Sighs, leans back against the bed, puts the mandolin back in its case.
It was a lovely song for what it's worth.
Thank you.
You're doing all you can. If they don't meet you in the middle, that's their choice.
It's true. They don't actually tell you how to correct things or what would make it right, and making attempts as best you can is really all you can do.
I just didn't know that it would affect them. Thought we were still going to do our thing no matter what.
I'm a little surprised to see that it has gone to the degree of, forgive the phrasing, but a childish punishment for, using a vampiric ability? It's not like you chose.
He shrugs at that. I mean, actually, it kind of makes sense, as I sort of chose to do that. I think the biting things, they know that's not really something I want to do. Maybe they see that as a bit of a slight against them.
It's not like you're making a public display of it. We're all aware of your unique constitution.
Thank you. I think we should just go to bed. I don't think this will affect... I hope this won't affect my magic when we're out there in danger. And if not, again, I'm good with a sword.
Well, let's all turn in for now. We need all the rest we can get.
See you in the morning.
Sleep well.
Good night.
Good night.
And with his bed pushed up against Kian's arms.
It might be a few inches closer.
He's
And
been
it started.
scooting it every time.
Every time Ox gets up for yeah. Every couple of hours, he moves it a bit closer.
They'll never notice. As you're about to fall asleep, Kian, you feel a warmth on your hands and look to see the golden moons there are glowing just slightly, very faintly.
Is this he's awake or in his
Awake.
dream state?
Just when you're falling asleep.
He holds his palms together and he tries to reach out.
You fall asleep and you sleep well. Virgil, you are woken before you can fully fall asleep by a 3-tone whistle.
Which one?
Low, high, low. This doesn't have the echoing internal quality of the ones you heard before. It sounds like it's from the other side of the wall.
He gives one single tap against the wall and will get up. He'll get up, shrug his cloak over his shoulders to ward off the chill. I might not be back, but it's alright. I'm not going anywhere, he says as he leaves the room.
Ox gives you a sly little smirk.
Virgil just ducks his head and leaves the room.
He's going next door, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he sure does.
Rowan opens the door when you knock and invites you in.
You alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Want me to stay?
If you will.
Yeah. Always.
Next morning, you wake up at pre-dawn. The sky's changing color, but the sun hasn't risen yet when Commander Reese knocks on your doors. She does not blink an eye when she sees both Sterling and Floris leaving from the same room.
Gotta be professional, man. You gotta treat me with respect and call me commander. I'm gonna sleep with my subordinate.
If it makes you feel any less bitter, which I don't know if it does, you know these walls are thin. You didn't hear any,
Who said I meant sleep in that way?
They just slept!
I just wanted to make sure that you
Yeah.
at least knew if they were
Canoodling?
sleeping together. They were so professional about it.
Quietest missionaries.
Yeah.
Handshake after.
Yeah. If you care about this clarity, no, he did not have sex
No,
with
I
Virgil
know.
that night.
Yeah.
Virgil did not intend!
Maybe after this mission.
Yeah, maybe after. When we all survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Marigold is still a bat. Are you well prepared to go?
I think we're prepared.
She walks down the stairs, out the door. The town is basically empty at this hour. It's a small city, not a lot of coming and going, not a big nightlife. You have a clear path to what you could call a gate to the log wall that surrounds this city. It looks like it's either very, very old or just not taken care of. It's a smaller door that seems to be rotting a bit. Commander Reese has to shove pretty hard to actually get it to open on its hinges. And on the other side is just dense woodland. You don't see a trail or an easy way to get to your destination. And you can see a bit of frustration on her face as she looks out into the underbrush. I'm afraid you will be doing some bushwhacking through the woods here. They're known to be a bit dense. The center of the ruins that you should be heading for are exactly north from here. But I should think it shouldn't be too hard for those experienced.
But we do have, like, rations and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a forest, right?
Yes.
Also that, yeah, we can use
Is
Henry.
that one of your terrains?
Yeah, I chose second one was forest.
so easy.
Oh, I forgot to ask, actually, because we were just talking about the mounts.
We have horses, right?
Yeah. I think she would probably, show you this. You are free to bring your mounts with you. There will be spaces where it may be more difficult to have them at your side.
I can't hear him.
I know, but it's just so...
He's so.
But I also fully understand why you may wish to have something with you to help you through the ruins themselves.
I wasn't intending on bringing Orna, but that doesn't mean you all have to follow suit.
I mean, if you're not bringing her, I think it's better if we all go on foot then. It's not that far of a journey, right?
It's going to honestly take longer if we have to clear space to get horses through.
Commander Reese sort of nods slightly when you say that. Off you go then.
Come here, buddy.
Henry takes a position up by the front.
Come on. Come. No. Come here. Okay. He's
He
going.
just wants to piece on the
Say it again, Neil.
Henry takes a position up by the front.
And you start to traverse your way through this forest. The ground beneath you is mossy and moist. Your feet sink into it slightly with every step you take, which makes it a little bit slow going. There are overgrown, low branches and like shrubs, bushes, vines that make it a little more slow going. And regularly you need to check what direction you are actually heading in, which also makes it a little more slow going. But within a couple hours, the woods start to clear out some. And you start to notice what look to be more man-made structures around you, mostly in states of complete decay. Mostly stone and wood. Some look to be just normal boulders at first until you get closer and can see a little bit more beneath the mossy exterior. The wood appears to be petrified, maybe. You find some shards of petrified wood that seem to have once been pillars. And once the woods clear out properly, you find yourself again at the same wall that you just left. But this one, though built exactly the same, is clearly the beginning of the corrupted lands you are to explore. The wall is crumbling. You can find pieces of it 20 feet away. It has a resemblance to the Enosh crumbled wall that you recently saw, though this one is fully made of large logs. Rowan pulls out the map and takes a look at it for a moment to locate where the entrance is to these ruins and starts to lead you around to the right. I'm gonna have you all make a perception check.
Oh god. 18.
Yeah, I think as they're walking, Keen's probably grab like Ox's hand and just like go into Marigold vision and keep walking. And she rolled a 17.
Is hearing or smell associated with it?
For Delilah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, girl?
Because that's 15 for Delilah and 9 for Henry.
Rowan freezes in his path just at the same time as you all hear a rustling from the woods to your side, over at the border where the more man-made land meets the forest. He holds out a hand to stop you, but you've already stopped hearing the same thing.
Marigold flies above and towards the sound.
Marigold flits through the trees just a few feet in and flutters across something out in the woods. It looks to be maybe a human man, having just as much of a difficult time as you did, making his way through the intense thicket of jungle. What does she see?
The first thing she would see is a rather small black dog trotting ahead with a little white blaze on his face. And then behind, a tall man with brown hair that comes to about his shoulders, but wavy. He's wearing simple travel clothes that look like they have seen a good deal of mending, but they are in rich colors. He wears a green shirt and black trousers and a black cloak drawn about him. And he looks comfortable out here.
To clarify, this human is on our side of the wall?
On your side of the wall.
Kian pops out of Marigold Vision. There's a person coming from that direction. I saw a man. And a familiar, maybe? Or an animal companion?
Just one person.
All I could see.
What kind of animal?
A dog.
A big dog?
Small, right?
Fairly small, yeah.
Rowan already has his hand on his sword. He looks to be like on alert.
Do we go up and say something?
I don't know if I would necessarily trust someone out in these woods.
I mean, we're out here.
That's a fair point.
He smiles at that. I said necessarily.
Just seems like it might be better if we went and approached the situation rather than let it come to us.
He doesn't appear to relax, but takes a step in the direction of the sound y'all heard.
Yeah, Virgil follows close behind.
Henry moves forward as well, pretty much at the same almost shoulder with Rowan. Not like close at shoulder, but like the similar level. Better not have them sneak attack us.
He nods. And you all approach. Mr. Humanin,
Yes.
you finally make your way out of this obnoxiously thick wood to find yourself face to face with a party of 5 people with various weapons slung around their belts and backs, staring at you with various levels of cautiousness and suspicion.
Oh, hello.
Kian waves. What are you doing out here?
I could ask you the same.
Really, we must look like the far more suspicious party being all in a group together. And we did just... Henry puts his bow back over his shoulders. Approach you completely armed. You look much more friendly.
I have no quarrel with you, to be sure, I think.
What are you doing out here?
Well, I was going to see these ruins, actually.
What a fascinating coincidence. That is actually exactly what we're doing as well. Are you part of an exploration group or just yourself? More of a solo tour?
Yeah, no, it's just me and Codex. Gestures to the dog. Codex is a very friendly dog, and he will take cues from Delilah.
Oh, he's socialized.
Yes.
Unlike any of these boys.
Yeah.
Henry's socialized.
Virgil's parents missed that little window.
You would recognize that this is a familiar.
Just on a sightseeing.
Well, I wouldn't call it sightseeing per se. Dangerous area to be in, but I'm looking to gain the favor of the guardian of this area.
I see.
Heard tell that these ruins are important to him.
No offense, but you're thinking you were going to do this on your own?
I suppose it does seem rather difficult. It's only there is just me, so it's sort of my option.
Fair. I don't want to speak for us all, but I think that well... Kian looks to everybody. Actually, Kian looks to Rowan first and makes a, should we tell him? Like...
This poor man.
You're just he's not used to traveling with a party quite like this one.
That's unfortunate.
He looks back to you, Kian, with an equally questioning sort of look in his eyes.
We're actually trying to get these ruins all sorted out.
I would recommend that you turn back.
He looks around a little bit skeptically at you guys.
At which of us in particular?
None of you in particular, just sort of...
General incompetence.
Yeah.
He hasn't established who is a leader here and kind of feels like it's none of you. Not to call you all bottoms, but
Holy shit. There are no commanders here.
unfortunately, there is no turning back exactly for me. Are you sure you wouldn't like some help, accompaniment?
I mean, we're all pretty capable. What? Do you mean?
Well, I could walk back the way I came if my being here makes you so uncomfortable. I mean you no harm, but
If I may, Kian, I believe it's more a matter of principle, the not necessarily turning back. I'm certain that our new friend here, if they had found it to be exceptionally dangerous, they would have already turned themselves back the way that they came. However, as it would seem with a goal, rather an ambitious goal, I admire it, gaining the favor of the guardian of the island, I can only imagine it's something that they would wish to accomplish, regardless of the danger.
And why is that, may I ask? Why this guardian in particular?
it is rather personal, but I am hoping that he could offer a solution to a problem I've been having. Information, or perhaps even magic.
If you could excuse us for just a moment, I think. No offense to you. At all,
None taken.
But
I am a stranger in the ocean, I don't.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Excuse
can
us,
we just
we're
all
gonna
huddle?
Don't worry
If you
about
could
it.
get a name first, though.
Oh, yes, of course. My name is Kirit. Kirit Passeri.
Excellent to meet you. Henry offers him a hand. Henry Tempest Goodlove.
He shakes it. You're not one of those good loves, are you?
From Goodlove and Goodlove, yes I am.
Oh,
Can we just talk over here?
Just one moment. Henry goes over to the group, but does not call Delilah to stick next to him, so she may investigate. Codex.
I mean, I wasn't gonna just invite him along without talking together first, but
I
we
think,
want to send him on his way, or
look, it sounds like, regardless of what we'll do, they're going to be present while we're in the ruins, and therefore it's much easier if they're by our side and we can keep an eye on them and we don't step on each other's toes or end up, fighting each other with a misplaced Eldritch Blast or something like that because we got spooked.
he seems nice.
Feels if we try to go on our own, he's going to go forth by himself and get himself killed.
There is also the possibility that that is not even a person that you just gave your name to, so
That as well, yes.
I don't
Nice.
know that we should let whatever this person is go off with that into the oceans.
Yes, I was trying to avoid worrying you with that information, but that as well.
You're acting like this is my first time in the ocean every time we go into the ocean with it.
You come back with a curse, yes. You collect them like badges.
Maybe I like collecting them.
Does that explain the hand?
Yes.
I don't think he plans on stopping now, regardless of if we're here or not.
Keep an eye on them then.
Yes, we will.
And his little dog, too.
Well, we've got vampire boys, angel boys, vamp angel boys,
Cowboys.
ox.
A cow.
Yeah.
Hello, Virgil speaking. I'd like to say a few words if you'll permit me your time. Thank you for listening to Spare the Crying. Your support means a lot to us. If you'd like to find me or my companions, you can reach us on social media at linktree/sparethecrying. We'd love to hear from you. Please feel welcome to leave a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube streams. We also have a Discord server where you can discuss the story so far with us, or speak with like-minded souls about your own TTRPG experiences. In regards to our soundtrack, our background music is by Marika Shans and our intro is by Ben McElroy. Our official art is by yours truly. You can find me at Croqueen on Twitter. That said, allow me to bid you farewell for now. Please join us next time as we shepherd in a new dawn.
And this is a lot.
He's a straight man.
He's a straight man.
Is anyone gonna keep this?
So, you all stand at the outside of the partially decayed wall, a few feet away from your new friend Kirit, who is waiting anxiously to discover if he may travel with you or if he may simply be on his way. Rowan will just turn around and gesture for Kirit to step forward. If you're certain you want to enter, we would welcome further company and aid, but we will be keeping an eye out for anything strange. Is that all right?
I wouldn't expect anything less.
I don't know if you actually mentioned your particular skill set. What can we expect?
Fighting?
Right, but
Surviving? What?
Hope so, if you're planning on doing this alone. What's that dog you got? Is that...
Oh, this is Codex. Codex, say hi. And Codex will politely come and sniff.
Is that a familiar?
Oh, yes.
Marigold will just fly up and hover a little bit. How big of a bat is she?
She's a small bat. She's like 6 inches long from wingtip to wingtip.
Wow,
oh my
very
god,
tall.
she's a fucking cotton ball.
Yes, she is like a little cotton ball.
So do you do magic or...
A little. I don't know much.
That works for us.
All right. And he's going to continue to guide you all to the entry point that was marked on the map for the ruins. Traversing this area of the oceans is not too difficult, just because the land has been cleared of most trees, foliage, etc. And though this land has been abandoned for quite some time now, it seems like the forest is still keeping its border pretty strictly 20 feet away from the wall. Eventually, the wall just reaches what you think may have been a gate in the past. It has since crumbled, and you can just enter the old city that was once a part of Freya. You can see the destroyed remnants of homes, some shops, some impressively tall buildings. It was a well-established place. The signs of decay here are stronger, and most of the material seems to be eaten away at by some sort of like fungus. You see a lot of dark black mushrooms formed across wood and stone.
Is that anything like the ones that we saw when we were in the Feywild?
You want to go check them out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch them, but yeah, I would like to.
Did we learn how long these ruins have been apart from the rest of Freya?
It's been about 250 years, and they were dormant. They weren't causing any problems for Freya. They perhaps wished they had the land back, but that was pretty much it. The problem now is that randomly, supposedly, it seems to be expanding.
That was a 15 nature check.
Okay. They're kind of similar to the ones that you saw in the Feywilds. There's something a little different about them. It's like they're a relative.
Kirit, have a look and see if he recognizes them. Nature as well.
Yeah.
23.
These are unlike anything you've seen before. You have no idea what they could possibly be related to.
Can Virgil harvest a couple of mushrooms and carefully store them in some vials from his alchemist kit?
Yeah.
He'll tuck those away for later identification.
Do you know what those are? Or
Not precisely, but they seem similar to the ones that we saw when we were in the Feywild.
You were in the Feywild?
Briefly, yes, and not in a very large part of it.
I suppose I have no room to talk.
This boy's been places.
You all carry on through this abandoned city. I've mentioned before that the oceans have a specific feeling, like to the air, a sort of heaviness to it that makes it seem like it should be hard to breathe, though it doesn't actually affect your breathing. That feeling of pressure is stronger here. It's almost like you're underwater, and it intensifies as you walk through the center of what once was a town and through the other side to where the tunnel entrance is supposed to be for your mission. And what you come to is a building with a door that's half on its hinges. Is Rowan in the lead, or did one of you guys take the lead?
I was thinking that then perhaps like one step behind him. Henry's up by the front.
Rowan is willing to let Henry take the lead.
I was like, wait, I just remembered where the last conversation. Yeah, he'll take it.
Yeah.
Rowan seems to be kind of encouraging you all to lead on. He's just your babysitter.
And boy, do we need to be babysat.
Some more than others.
Henry, you open this door, and on the other side, it looks like the building, not that the inside of the building has been destroyed, but that there was just nothing there in the first place, except for an entrance to a very steep tunnel, just in the center. Lined with stone, it looks very purposeful. And though there's some crumbling at the edges, some of the rock has been eroded by the weather, it still stands as a structural enough piece of this building.
So are we gonna head in? Does that seem safe?
We're going to have to. We should probably map it out as we go, though, so we don't get lost. What are the surrounding buildings like? There's probably a lot of places for stuff to hide here,
Absolutely.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yes.
Has it been eerily quiet, or has it felt like there is a life?
That's the thing about the oceans. Either it's eerily quiet or eerily loud, and you are in the middle of a bad situation.
While we're on the topic of, like, checking out the surroundings, can I just do a quick sweep for tracks, footprints, stuff that isn't from us?
I guess you're inside a building now. The floor is stone. It's dusty.
I'll go outside
Okay.
and just do a little sweep around the building.
Roll for this just
Yeah.
because
Ox will
It is.
go with you and hopefully give you some advantage.
survival.
18.
22.
Both of you do see that clearly the ground is churned up in some ways that would be more than the smooth effects of rain or wind. There are tracks that look slightly humanoid in shape around the building, as well as a variety of creatures. When you see hoof prints, you see paw prints. It looks like some of them have been here for, months, and some of them may be fresh.
About how many sets of humanoid tracks?
I'll give that to you, Ox, with your 22.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like maybe somewhere between 5 and 10.
Quite a few. Do these tracks trail off anywhere else, like deeper into town?
It seems almost random. It's hard to tell where they're going. They cross over each other. They do extend beyond. Well, how far are you going from this building?
Ox would go as far as like maybe 2 buildings away.
Once you get to 2 buildings away, they do start to thin out a bit. The specific humanoid ones you're tracking.
Are there any animal tracks with the humanoid tracks?
There are, not necessarily in tandem.
Okay. Ox will walk back over to Virgil. Well, definitely looks like someone's been through here. Hopefully they don't meet us on the way out either.
We'll keep an eye out. And I think the 2 of them will regroup with the others. Alright, doesn't seem as though we're actively standing in a trap, so I think we're as safe as we're going to be.
Do you need light to see down there?
Oh, yes, if that won't be a problem, I hope.
Keen just extends a hand out. May I?
Go ahead.
Are you wearing anything some small article?
Kieran is wearing, you notice, small, well-crafted pieces of gold jewelry. They look like they're probably gold-plated, not actually gold. But he is wearing a bracelet on his left arm.
Yeah, why not? He'll just go and tap the bracelet, and it will glow like a...
It will not glow. Nothing happens.
Fuck. 1 second. He will go and pick up a rock from the ground and try to cast light on it.
It's a smooth gray stone that remains gray.
Keen will cast Disguise Self. He's just Ophelia.
Suddenly, Ophelia appears in front of all of you.
Can I try and cast light on my gauntlet?
Yeah, your gauntlet glows.
Okay, so why not your spell?
I don't know. I don't know what the difference between those are. Aelin? Please.
Can I try and cast light on the same bracelet that Keen was going for? Sorry, just see if this works.
Sure.
Yeah, it glows. Golden light.
Thank you.
Okay, that's strange, Keen, but hopefully just the one-off thing, yeah?
Yeah. It's fine.
Okay. think we're set. Virgil will draw his sword and Ice will just crust up the blade in preparation and he will hold it at the ready. Okay.
Will you be able to protect yourself without magic?
Yeah, I should be fine. Maybe a spell that would do damage will work. Who knows?
And if not, you have your blades.
Keen will just tap over his shoulder at the swords. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Virgil, are you taking the lead?
Yeah, he will.
What's our line order?
I don't know that that's necessary until the DM asks.
No, that's what I was just about to ask.
60 secrets.
That's what I was about to ask.
Well, Virgil will be in the front.
Henry's not going to go his spot near the front, so he'll follow behind Virgil, bow drawn.
Keen will be next to Ox, like in the very back.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like you
have
don't...
Kirit
Excellent.
in front of them.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Sorry, we just don't trust you is the thing.
We
got
just
that
need
one.
eyes on you.
Yeah.
But after Kian gestures for Kirit and they take a step inside, he will reach out for your hand. Squeeze it. How large is the passage?
So, you all head down into the tunnels. They stay pretty well paved. Again, though it's still showing some of the signs of decay, it does not seem to be crumbling around you. It's the same stone brick all the way around the walls, the ceiling, and the floor. You see more of those mushrooms growing between the cracks and a dark sort of lichen or moss. And you can fit comfortably in here. Well, comfortably for people who don't mind walking in tunnels. If you wanted to get really cozy, you could all walk in line with each other.
We're
Just
good.
roll for-
I was just rolling because I activated my sword.
Oh.
And that does hurt me.
What'd you get?
Well, I rolled a 4, so. Yeah, he'll just wipe his nose as he goes.
Keen will try to cast Prestidigitation, have a perfumey scent.
A floral lavender smell fills the air.
Do you smell that?
Rowan also looks kind of confused, and he nods.
Don't worry. Just some perfume.
No, yeah, I just... Sorry, I thought it might have been some...
Is it too strong?
No.
So, with a very springy sort of summer smell following you through this rather dank tunnel, you carry on your way. The tunnel starts to widen a little more as you go on. And the ceiling especially quickly seems to move higher up as you head down. Until above you, even with these light spells cast, all you see above you is darkness.
If the ceilings do seem to get taller, Keen would have Marigold go up, just see what's happening.
She flutters up, and do you just want her to see if she can sense anything up there? Is that the idea?
Yeah, just sort of see how far it goes.
After about 300 feet at this point, she flutters against the ceiling. She doesn't sense anything, just more stone, and it seems to still be sloping upwards.
That's a big room, y'all.
It's a really tall ceiling, I think.
If we're really quiet for a second, can we hear anything in this space?
Henry and Ox, you do think you hear something ahead. It sounds like maybe there's some running water. Not yet in sight, but just barely you can hear it. And that's all you can hear besides the echo of your own footsteps down the hallway.
I think Ox seems pretty on edge in here. His grip has gotten tighter the further we travel.
Just making sure. Don't want us to get lost. We haven't reached any choices.
Any forks.
forks.
No, you haven't
tunnel.
reached any forks, no.
It's just like now a really wide room.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
What terrain is this? Is this still the forest?
Trees. Ancient old cedar.
There's a lack of dirt and a lack of trees that makes me feel like maybe it doesn't count as forest anymore. As you keep walking, eventually you stop being able to see the walls on either side of you as they steadily grow wider.
That's a problem.
Should we pick a wall, stick to it?
I think so. Left, right? Any preferences?
I've always been rather fond of left, personally.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Kian, make a perception check.
Oh god, why me? Why me?
Don't fuck it up.
2.
Okay, carry on. You all head over to the left. Keep going.
Mechanically, Kieran is stealthing, but he can move at a normal pace while stealthing.
Keen's like, where's Kieran?
It's like when you have 100 stealth in Skyrim.
You come across a slight hiccup because of the light rippling across the water. All you can see your way forward is a slow-moving body of water.
Okay, that's alarming.
Do you want me to send Marigold over?
Yeah, maybe see how far this goes.
Go to Marigold Vision? Yeah.
Yeah. Lack of vision.
Can we tie a little, ribbon on her foot and cast light on that?
Keen will tie a little bow. He'll take the hair ribbon and just tie it around her. And then he is going to try to cast light again.
It's a nice ribbon, but not nice enough to glow.
Yeah, Virgil will cast light on the little ribbon.
You watch a flickering little glowing bat fade into the distance as she crosses over the water. It's a couple minutes before she comes to the other side. She sticks along the wall, and there isn't much of a change in scenery as she goes. Once she gets to the other side, there are a couple differences from the tunnels you've been walking down. Though the material of the wall is the same, it's lined with what look like sconces. They're not lit, plain black metal in the wall, about 50 feet from the water. They seem to be about 20 feet apart. In between the closest sconce and the furthest that she finds, you see a couple levers in the wall, lining the edge of the pathway. So it looks to be a gutter system. And beneath each sconce, there's a intricate and well-maintained or long-lasting, almost looks like do you call it a wheel? Yeah, like a water wheel.
Yeah.
There's no water in the gutters.
Oh, okay.
They're made of a metal that catches the light of Marigold's ribbon in a way that nothing has in this town. The decay doesn't seem to have affected them.
Keen will beckon her back and then jump back into his body and describe.
I'll have Henry bend down near the edge of the water. What I'm looking for specifically, similarity between this water and the Rusalka water, if there is any.
Yeah, roll a nature check.
11.
It looks like water. I mean, there's not much of note about it. It doesn't have any particularly unusual smell. There's a bit of a musty smell around you. If anything, it's a little bit fresher than you would expect, but it is slowly moving, so maybe that's why.
If it is murky in any way, can I go up and cast Shape Water to make it transparent? I think as Marigold returns, Virgil is joining Henry by the edge, and he will reach out and cast Shape Water. He'll do the 5 foot right by the shore, just to make sure that there's nothing in there looking at us.
It looks like the pathway continues.
Into the lake or the water?
Yes.
Can we suss out how deep it is?
Not really, no.
Too
I
dark.
mean, the walk has been getting less steep as you've continued. So, yeah, you were still moving downwards, but the slope wasn't as dramatic.
Do you think that there might be a boat like this was on purpose, the water? If we walked more along the edge?
Perhaps there might also be a way to drain it if we were to access those levers. It looks like this was built to continue on the pathway, so presumably there must be a way to get rid of the water. Unless it flooded in the time since.
I think it might be good to just take the time to walk along the edge and see what's on the other wall.
Before we do that, and Kieran's gonna put the base of his spear into the water just to kind of see how deep it is. Get a vibe for if it's longer than a spear.
It's not. I mean, it seems to be like the path just continues on at the same level that you've been walking on. The water is a couple inches deep.
Not an immediate drop off.
How wide is the
I don't
path
know that
of
we can
water?
Well, I think we're...
You mean that Marigold crossed, or do you mean...
That Marigold crossed, yeah.
Big
So,
water.
I mean, okay, it was a couple minutes for her to get there and back. She also was investigating.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's not bay water.
Oh, and River Time song is gonna get stuck in my
Oh,
head.
let it go.
But it's not miles or anything like that. Maybe a couple 100 feet.
Yeah, let's do a lap around.
You follow the shoreline and reach the other side.
Do you think that it's maybe shallow enough we could just walk through it? People mind getting our
Seems
feet
like
wet?
it.
If we end up swimming, that's not very defensible if there are things in there.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to get to the point where we need to swim, I think I would rather go back than forward, but no. Can't think of another way to do this. Marigold's a bit too tiny to pull those levers.
I'd love to see her try. Yeah, the only one who can fly is Marigold.
Okay. I can fly. I don't know.
I mean, if you can try one more time, maybe this time it will work. You could polymorph one of us.
I don't. Sorry.
What? What?
You know what? Do you want me to be really nice to you?
I don't know at what cost.
Yeah.
Will you roll an intelligence roll for me, please?
Like a check or a save? Well,
A
that's
check.
a 6.
Okay, never mind. Carry on.
Oh no!
Can you actually? It's fine. Keep going. Never mind.
Oh no.
No.
Well, you roll 6.
I'm gonna have all of you except Kirit, roll an intelligence.
Check.
That's a dirty 20.
7.
Okay. Ox, as you're trying to think about Marigold could cross, but she's such a weak little guy. How are you gonna get there? There's no boat. An image flashes through your mind of Kian walking across a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, he got pushed last time. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're so fucking right. Wow, we're so. We're not doing that on purpose.
So,
I'm stupid.
Comrade. I couldn't fucking remember.
Well, it seems like at least the wall continues for a while, right? You could try to walk on it to cross.
Oh,
That gets one across.
yeah, should I pull the lever when I get over there?
I don't know about that.
Well,
We don't
maybe-
know what it
maybe
does.
See if there's like instructions or something.
Or like,
What if there aren't instructions?
then don't touch anything. I also don't really like the idea of you over there on your own for too long.
Perhaps he should pull the lever?
No, we don't. Again, we don't know what they do, so we don't touch it.
Maybe the lever does something with the water.
Henry offers Kian an exaggerated gesture to the wall.
All right, I'm going.
I can also freeze us away across. It will be slower.
Keen's just walking.
I don't want him to go on his own. I can make us a path.
I'll be fine.
I'm gonna start freezing like one by one. Like it says I can have up to 3 effects going at the same time.
Okay.
So he will slowly make like a little moving ice bridge.
Okay. Rowan looks to Ox, and over to Kian, and over to Ox. Has he always been able to do that?
I'm not really sure.
It's a bit unclear. We found out last night. Alright. Watch your footing, please, everyone.
Let's have
At time.
everyone make a dexterity check.
Hey Daddy, can ice be my favorite terrain?
No. 18, nat 20, 4, 8, and
Rowan?
4. No! So Henry and Ox are impressively balanced on the sort of wobbling ice that you create.
It's 3 5x5 cubes.
As you carry on forward, you can tell the water at least gets deeper than 5 feet because the ice becomes very wobbly as you have to balance across it. Henry and Ox, it starts to rock back and forth furiously, and you instinctively pause to catch your balance and to make sure you stay on. Virgil, Kirit, and Rowan, on the other hand, as it rocks violently to the left, I think, Virgil, you're trying to keep your focus, and what did you roll? 4?
Yeah.
Both Kirit and Rowan, sort of semi-accidentally, reach out for each other to catch each other's balance.
Oh no!
And each slip into the water. Virgil, you start to slide in after them.
I'll grab.
Shit.
Make a grab for Virgil. He's standing right next to him.
Yeah, do it.
Babe,
Grab him.
my hero.
Wait.
Henry, I
Missed
take
it.
back everything bad I've ever said.
Can Ox fashion a lasso with his rope and
Yeah, pick a boy.
Yeah.
into the water?
Well, let's see
Not
what
great
this is.
9. Yeah.
You grab for Virgil's arm, and it seems like he will pull you in.
He instinctively goes back to balance himself almost forgetting that holding on was really important.
If in this split second Henry pulls back and Ox has to choose a boy, he's going to choose Virgil and try to keep Virgil on the ice using his lasso.
You wrangle a boy?
That's a 22.
Gosh, you're rolling good tonight. Virgil, you skid to the edge of the ice, and you're sort of halfway off, like you fall down, I don't know, on your tailbone. But before you can actually slide into the water, you feel a rope constrict around your chest, and you are pulled back.
Okay, thank you.
You all right?
At this point, Rowan is trying to cling onto the edge of the ice. Kira, can you swim?
I think Kira could swim.
It upsets the ice more. It continues to rock as they... Well, I shouldn't say what Kira's doing, but as Rowan tries to cling onto the ice to see if he can climb back on. And...
This poor man.
Are you trying to get back on the ice?
No, he's just gonna
Okay.
try and swim for the other side.
Yeah, Rowan, as soon as he sees that he's messing up with your bridge, he also lets go and floats there for a second. The cavern goes quiet, except for the sounds of Kirit splashing away and vanishing from your circle of light as you find your balance tentatively on this man-made ice floe.
Yeah, sorry, that went worse than I thought. Okay. And he will try and stand back up.
Rowan,
Oh
this wet cat in the water.
Bird collar.
Yeah.
no! Oh no!
He looks the most disheveled that you've seen him so far.
Ruining his life.
You've seen him this disheveled before.
Nice.
Wink. But no one else has.
Can I shrink the ice bridge down to 10 feet and just sweep a hand and bring a current to help him get across faster?
He's just trying to tread water right now. I think as you make the current, his eyes kind of widen with alarm and he starts to try to swim against it.
No, it's okay. It's just me. Sorry.
What?
The spell of the water, that's me.
Where are you? What? Okay. Where are you trying to take me?
Well, to the other side, if we're still
I
going
can
there.
swim. He starts to swim away.
Okay. Right.
At that point, Virgil,
Just push me in.
Virgil gets a tug on his sleeve. It's Henry nodding to the bridge, the side of the ice bridge that is facing the other side of the river, water, lake,
Reservoir?
reservoir.
Yeah, okay. He will continue.
You gonna keep doing the ice flow situation?
Sure, until I go in.
Okay, would you like to roll another dex?
Sure, babe.
Yeah, what'd you get?
8.
17.
Yeah, Henry and the dogs, are my favorite band, are doing an impressive job staying balanced. Ox, you as well, don't really struggle with it, but you do notice Virgil starting to slip again. The ice flows get a little shaky. It's hard to give him credit to cast and balance at the same time.
Make another grab for Virgil.
Yes.
Go again.
Go, Henry.
He just closes his eyes and waits. Yeah, Henry, what?
5.
Can Ox
Try.
lasso again?
Just let him go.
That's 24.
Yeah, and once again, you are pulled back on your ass as Ox lassos you.
He'll sort of reel you in closer this time.
Hello?
Well, maybe stay in the middle. I'm a little worried about the ice disappearing.
Okay. I might just bring you in with me, though, if that's the case.
I can't swim.
You didn't mention this before we... Okay, maybe it'd be better if I swam and kept the bridge up.
While you two are having this discussion, Kian, you have made it to the other side, followed eventually by Rowan and Kirit, who drag themselves out of the water like bedraggled little creatures. You hear them before you see them, the splash of their approach.
Kirit casts prestidigitation to dry himself off.
Rowan half raises a hand.
I
To
can
spare. Thank you.
And Keen will cast.
It's not going particularly smoothly with the others, as I'm sure you can hear, as you continue to hear splashes from the distance.
Do they need help?
Just let me and my dignity die in peace.
Keen will walk back fast pace. Yeah, it feels wrong to say
You
run.
can run, yeah.
Yeah.
You come across a cowboy and a nice man and Henry.
Once a
And 2 dogs.
An ice man?
ice man. That's Virgil. Not a nice man, an ice man. Yeah, you find your friends isolated in the middle of this. You find your friend isolated, but in the middle of this body of water.
He just holds out a hand. Is everything all right?
It's okay, I can just swim and keep the bridge up for you, Ox. And Kian, perhaps you can hold his hand and make sure he doesn't slip, because apparently he cannot swim.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, excuse me. And he will just drop into the water and accept what has been trying to get him for the last 2 rounds.
So, Henry with your natural 20 and Ox with Kian holding your hand, you manage to make it across the water. It's a little wobbly. Virgil, you have to stop every 5 feet or every 15 feet and half drown yourself as you go through the motions of casting the spell. You make it to the other side. None the worse for wear.
Virgil just drags himself out of the water like a wet rat and looks miserably at Kian.
Yeah, I'm going to. And he just casts Presto.
Thank you.
Are we all right?
I think so.
Voldup is fine. I don't think we needed to do all that, quite honestly.
I think it was maybe necessary, but we'll work on the execution on the way back.
Let's just find the path and be on our way.
Kian gives Ox a pat on the back.
Let's get this man some floaties.
It just continues on.
Before they leave, I'm assuming the levers are relatively near the path, correct?
Yeah, it's just beneath one of the sconces on the wall.
So, while they're walking back over towards the path, Henry takes a more significant lead to take a brief look at the old levers.
There's a label above each one, and it's in Celestial.
Yeah, he reads Celestial.
One says in and one says out.
He pulls the out lever.
You yank down on the out lever. As you do so, it glows faintly when you touch it.
Henry?
A pleasant sort of warm gold. And you start to hear a gurgling sound. And you turn around and see the water starting to retreat very rapidly. And as it does so, the wheels start to spin in the gutter on the ground. As it continues to retreat, you see that there are more wheels underneath the water that were invisible to you at the time. The hallway fills with light as the sconces all light up with a brilliant shine. Some sort of arcane fire that doesn't give off any heat, but seems to fill the chamber with sunlight.
As the room fills with light, the exasperation in Henry's hand gestures is palpable. Obvious, evident to anyone, even Kirit, who's perhaps not familiar with Henry.
You see behind you, in the other direction, as the water starts to drain out, that you're just at the edge of a impressively large cavern. Even this, you can't really see the ceiling. However, it seems that the lights may extend up above you because it almost looks like you have stars above your head. And Ox, one thing about this place is striking to you. Do you remember a few sessions ago when you went to a certain distillery?
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same, but flipped opposite of Paradise Prison's layout.
What the fuck?
And you spent many years there. You recognize it immediately. And then, with a last sort of gurgling, sucking sound of water vanishing from the tunnel, the lights all go out again. Except for what you have on Marigold, as the wheel stops spinning and the water vanishes. Down the drain. Basically, you're in a tunnel that opens up to this cavern that has this compound in it. The drain, the pillar with the alcove, and the white square are all in the tunnel.
It's just a wide tunnel.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Are there any markings on the walls anywhere?
You didn't see any markings. The space that opened up to this compound that you saw is wide enough that if there were markings on, I don't know, the opposite side of it, you wouldn't be able to see them. But no, you just saw the wheels spinning as the water flowed around them. And the lights. There's the drain at the bottom of the slight slope that you just crossed. Some pillars from wall to wall. That's all you can see from here. You can investigate either direction.
Kian will take a few tentative steps. Look into the space.
You can't see much because all the lights have gone out.
He has dark vision.
You don't.
Okay, that's rude.
What does Ox see with his dark vision if he still has it?
I'm so confused because that's Dhampir stuff. Did this just start?
It did. You had Marigold with you, and I had you make a perception check earlier, and you rolled really low. At the sort of valley where the drain sits, you do see something of note, just in that it's different from the rest of the hallways you've been walking down so far. You can see there used to be something set into one of the pillars in the center of the room. Or from here, it just looks like an alcove with the best way you could describe it as like a picture frame. You see the drain, which is like a little gate, basically, at the base of the wall that is open fully. And on the other side, there's just a square drawn in the wall, a white outline.
Is Ox walking forward?
Ox is definitely just going for it.
Kian,
He's
I
gonna walk
think,
in.
reaches as he's walking forward and just, shit, I can't see right now.
Ox will turn around and look at Kian. What do you mean you can't see? You were just fine a little bit ago, weren't you?
I don't know, it's like everything's a lot darker in here. I can't see at all.
Ox will take Kian's hand. Henry, there wasn't another light switch anywhere that you saw, was there?
Henry gives him a shake of his head and points back over to the levers.
Can I take a look at the sconces since we're right here? Does this look like it is feasible technology for the people of now to have, or does it look old? Like some of the stuff that we've seen in the Feywild?
Do you want to make a history or arcana check?
I would love to do that. History or... Oh, I will make it a history check. What the fuck? It was on an 18. It's not an 18. That's an 11.
And you don't recognize them. They're pretty simple in design, so it's hard to say. And they're not lit right now, so you can't really investigate what the magic is.
Yeah.
It didn't just get like suddenly darker for everybody.
No.
Been dark the whole time.
Rowan laughs.
Do you
But
think...
it's like really dark.
Right. Do you think maybe we take a moment and you see if you can reach your patron and get this sorted? It's just, it seems to be coming and going a bit, and it feels, if I may, a bit in character for Aelin.
Aelin, please, if... I think he speaks this in Celestial. If it's you messing with my vision, I'd really like to be able to see right now.
Can I fucking understand this?
You can.
Do I even notice that it's a different language?
I think you do, yeah. Ox, what are you doing while this is happening? Are you investigating?
Ox looks around and is trying to, like, analyze the things within his sight, but he's still holding on to Kian.
Okay. Kian, it's quiet for a moment as you wait to hear back from Aelin, and then you almost feel like there's a hand on your shoulder. It's a familiar presence, and you hear a voice in your ear. Don't forget you're nothing without me. And then the presence vanishes.
Holy shit. Ox probably feels Kian just flinch, and he just shakes his head.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. He can't see any better, can he?
No.
Can I have a light?
Yeah,
I guess.
of course.
Marigold, just fly close.
Marigold will land on your head.
What sort of jewelry is Kian wearing?
I feel like he's not a big jewelry wearer. However, he's got some like chains like dangling from his belt, and he's wearing like one earring.
Okay. Ox will start digging around in his pocket. Can I see your earring?
Sure, it's just like a small hoop.
Ox will use his tools to tinker with it and use some magical tinkering and imbue a 5-foot radius of light on this little earring.
An artificer?
Yeah.
That's so sexy.
What does it look like?
The light? I think it's sort of silvery.
Keen will just take it. When did you learn how to do that?
I've been practicing and brushing up. I knew someone who could do such things before.
It's like magic?
Yeah, just a little bit of it. Kind of trying to imbue a little bit of magic in the things you touch and tinker with.
He just looks at it in awe. Never seen anything like that before. He'll lightly like brush Marigold off and let her fly ahead.
Ox will go ahead and go toward that pillar.
In the pillar, as you're looking at it, to the right, a little bit closer to the drain, there's the alcove with what looks like a picture frame. It does appear to be a frame on like a thin pole that goes vertically in the alcove. And if you check out the corners of the frame, you can see there's some remnants there of what used to be in this picture frame. It looks like shards of reflective glass.
Ox will, carefully with a gloved hand, pry out one of the shards.
The frame rotates on this pole that it's been set on, so you have to hold it still, pry out one of the shards. You have a shard of mirror.
Can I have you make a perception check?
Me?
I don't know why I said... No, sorry, Ox. Could I have Ox make a perception check for me?
Yeah.
Interesting.
21.
Henry has followed Ox, but the only reason that Ox knows this is because he can hear the tippy-tap of Delilah's claws on the ground.
He'll turn around to look at Henry.
He's looking at the mirror right with you. That shard of glass that you picked up. Good thing Ox wears gloves.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Ox would also like to know.
What's going on here?
Broken glass. It's just good thing he's wearing gloves.
What is happening, Neil?
If Ox looks at the glass a little too long, nothing weird happens, right?
I'm just putting
Perception check.
this out there
Again?
for the whole party to hear. I'm just getting a little bit of Henry is not normal right now vibes. That's not me, right? That's not just me. Something's up. Something's wrong.
That's a 16.
You see your own wide-eyed, nervous face staring back at you, and that's it.
Is Henry there?
Do you check?
I mean, if he tilts it towards Henry, is Henry there?
Yeah.
He's such a vampire.
I'm still not completely sussed down or whatever. I'm still.
At this point, Kian would have walked up to the group.
Ox will turn back to look at the frame. If he removes it from the wall, is there anything behind it?
You can't remove it. I don't know if I was clear. It's like, what it's suspended on is just a pole that rotates. It can spin.
I understand.
So you could tear it off if you want. But yeah, you can see behind it in this alcove, and it's just an alcove.
Is there any broken glass around the frame?
You see a few shards actually seem to have been swept over to the drain as the current pulled them there.
I think as everyone sort of gathers around, Ox will turn to everyone. This place is, it's like a copy of the prison. It's mirrored with the distillery.
As in the architecture?
Yeah.
Like, it just reminds you of it? Or
No, it is. It's just mirrored. It's opposite.
How old is Paradise? Because this should. Would it predate it?
Roll a history check.
Can I also? It's okay.
That's a 6.
Mine's
There's-
coming back. 22.
Ox, you know a lot about the production of tequila, but not much about the history of the Paradise prison compound. Virgil, you, as a studious little scholar, you do know a little more about the history of Octarius as a whole. Paradise prison has been around for hundreds of years. The tequila distillery portion of it is a little bit newer. Past 100 years, it became a tequila factory, but the compound itself is probably around, about at 200.
So this would have come first then. Potentially this area. Or at least this city
Yeah.
is older than.
Because it's 250, you said? Years?
Yeah, ish. It was abandoned 250, right?
Yeah.
Years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So,
So,
definitely
yeah.
predates. Okay, that's more than a bit strange, I would say, for it to be a mirror.
like a fae thing? Do you think? Like, is this real? What we're seeing? We're all seeing the same thing, right?
Well, I guess the only way to really know is to go deeper in.
What are you seeing? In case we're seeing something else.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're seeing the same thing. A large space full of pillars and buildings and...
Now that you mention it, it does look a bit like the distillery. I wouldn't know it as well as you, but it's familiar.
The mirror, it almost seems like it might be part of a contraption or something, the way it swivels.
Maybe I never saw anything like this there.
I recall earlier that there was a descriptor saying that the water wheel aspects looked unaffected by decay. Is that a similar theme with this Paradise Prison layout?
The buildings were whole. You could tell that much, at least. The decay seems less in these buildings than it did up above ground. I think to see if it looked completely untouched, you would have to get a little closer.
I'm thinking like Indiana Jones, like mirror reflection light stuff.
Shall we check out some of these buildings? See if the inside is the same too?
Yeah.
Which one should we go into first?
Well, I want to check out that spot on the wall over there before we go in. He'll start walking towards the white square on the wall.
It's at the base of the wall, opposite of the other drain, about the same size. If you run your hands along it, you don't feel anything different when the stone changes color.
If he looks between this white square and where the swivel mirror is, do they line up?
It seems possible, yeah.
Ox will run his hand over the wall again and turn back to the group and say, nothing special about it, as far as I can tell.
Okay, let's take a look inside and see what we can find.
Yeah.
We head over to the closest building. It would be the guest quarters, be the closest to where we are now.
And you all walk out of the tunnel into the compound and head to what Ox may think of as the entry building, the guest building of Paradise Prison, where some of you spent the night when you visited there. I think Henry was trying to see if the decay had affected these buildings. They are also made of the same stone that everything else is made of, this like darker gray stone. You see the fungus is still growing here, the mushrooms, but it doesn't seem to be causing any sort of dilapidation. It seems they can coexist in a friendly manner. The buildings are simple, much like Paradise Prison, just blocks, pretty much. No windows. Come up to the door, step inside.
Yeah, is it a wood door?
It's a stone door. It is a single block of stone.
Yeah, Virgil will put his shoulder against it and try and push it open.
Does this look like the place that you're talking about? Still?
So far, yes.
It swings open easily. Inside, you see shelves lining all of the walls. Some books are scattered throughout. Some are on the floor in piles. You see pages ripped out, strewn across the floor as well. In the center, you see uncountable glowing eyes all turn and look to you.
No, do they have to?
As a roiling, bubbling mass starts to form in the middle of this library.
I just pull the door closed.
What was in there?
Wait,
sorry,
it was so quiet.
I think Ox had had been leaning over you as you had peered in and saw this happening and immediately leaned back when you
Oh yeah, Virgil
swung the
pulls
door
that door
back.
closed.
Keen whispers, what's in there?
Definitely that wasn't there in Paradise.
Something bad.
Okay,
Virgil, you fall to the ground as the door slams open.
motherfucker.
It almost looks like an octopus that floats across the ground, writhes and pushes its way out of a door that's far too small for its shape.
Like a dog size, or like a horse size.
Like 3 Ornas.
Oh, like 3 Ornas! Oh, okay.
3.
It floats about 5 feet above the ground as it finally, with a unpleasant squelch, makes its way out of the building. Each sort of set of eyes trains on each of you, and I'm gonna have you all roll for initiative.
Can I?
You can roll a intelligence.
History for me would be a 13.
12. Ian, I don't think you know what this is. I mean, it's definitely some sort of aberration like you might find in the oceans. Virgil, the 13, you have studied the creatures of the oceans. That was part of your training. It takes you a half second after the initial panic to recognize the beholder.
No.
That's what I thought.
Virgil and Ox have sort of fallen back as this door shoved them aside. Kirit, a couple dozen eyes turn towards you.
Kieran is going to pull out his spear, and he's gonna close his eyes for a second, and it looks like he's thinking real hard, and he's gonna go into a rage. While I'm raging, friends have advantage on melee attacks against hostiles within 5 feet. He's gonna make a attack with the spear. Let's go reckless. Let's do a reckless attack. 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Okay. We've learned something.
10 piercing damage.
Nice.
25 for 8 points of piercing damage.
Here, you're splattered in a black goop as your spear pierces through this thing. It lets out a sound very similar to the water going down the drain. Henry, it's your turn.
Does a 16 hit attacking with a bow?
As you shoot, the arrow flies like it should hit it, and then its body just whoop, morphs in the air. Without it actually moving from its spot, it dodges the arrow.
I forgot to mention that Henry does back off from this monster in order to fire. He's not particularly close. 5, I take it, also doesn't hit.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh no!
Ox.
Ox is going to grab not only his scimitar, but also a dagger, and he's got advantage on melee roll. 12 to hit.
That misses.
That's a no on the dagger. 17 to hit with the scimitar.
Misses.
Oh, 18.
Oh, wait. I get
God.
Did you not roll
advantage on
advantage?
both. No, I didn't.
Please.
Yes,
Fuck.
misses. Still misses.
Oh my god. This is going great, you guys.
It moves without moving. Like its body just sort of sucks in on itself with each slash and swooshes through air. Also, please make a Constitution saving throw, Ox.
That would be a 26.
One of the eyes turns to you. There's a half second where it almost seems to freeze you in place. It's like a deep ice blue. Your steps sort of stutter for a second, and then you continue to run back as far as you can. Okay.
Oh my fucking god.
Remember, we can flee a battle, guys.
I don't know that we can run from a beholder.
I know.
It's got
I think
range.
we have to kill it. Shit.
Virgil, make a
No.
dexterity saving throw.
No, wait. Oh fuck, I don't have my blade song activated yet. Okay. 9.
9. Reflexively, you try to back up, and you feel like you are moving through molasses as the eye stares at you. For the next half minute, your speed is going to be half. You can't take reactions,
No, I need those. I don't care about my movement.
3 turns.
and you can take either an action or a bonus action, not both.
Fuck you. My action economy! No, wait, I actually need that really bad.
Kira, will you make a Constitution save, please?
8.
Heat. Another eye turns to you. You nearly fall to your knees as the worst, what can only be described as the worst pain in your life, just rises up. It's almost like it's from the floor up your legs, up your body to your chest, and you are going to take 36 points of necrotic damage. It moves, so anyone who is close to it.
Yeah.
Henry is not within melee.
Ox is
Oh,
also
that's
running.
true. So I think that's just Kieran and Keaton. Rowan would too.
Rowan, please.
As it zips to the side to get further away from you.
18 on the dice.
That hits. Rowan misses.
5 points of
Nice.
piercing.
Kieran?
27.
27. We have to joke somehow.
13 points of damage.
You hear another sickening shook as your spear sinks into it. Now, Kian, you two are splattered with this black gore.
Yes, I was going to say I hate to be that guy, but I realized, I think one of the attacks that I did, I forgot to add. One of them was a dirty 20. I just forgot to add.
Oh.
Yeah, roll damage for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do
Just
it.
add that on.
The other one not, but
I'll allow it.
yay. Thank
Daddy.
you. Thanks, Daddy.
You're welcome.
Listen, we're gay, we can't do math.
Yeah, me too. I get it.
14 piercing damage.
So the beholder moved out.
It's just 20 feet away from you.
He's gonna move in them. We're gonna see if 1, Kian can even Eldritch Blast, and 2, if it will even do damage. That's not gonna hit, it's a 12, but does it cast?
It does.
Kian will hold both his palms out in front of him and just cast as the 2 beams erupt from the ground in light, far missing.
Yeah, for a moment the land around you is bright again. Some of you cannot see as it starts to move further out. There's another brief flash of light as Rowan activates his Crimson Right, and you've seen Virgil's sword covered in ice. His does the same, covered in flame. He runs and swings towards the beholder. That is where we'll end our session for tonight. This monster is brought to you by Corey, who
What?
picked number 8 when I asked for a number,
No.
Sexy.
and landed on the creature you see before you.
How to have your whole table sweating.
What do we do? Can we even run?
Cry.
This.
Her eye was on the sparrow. Her mind was on the deaf. But no one cared and no one dared to speak to her of love. Her eyes are always hooded. Her claws are sharp as steel. We teach her not to see too much. Teach her